A pleasant good evening, everyone, along with Ty Keel and an expected 40,000-plus crowd. I'm John Paul Delacamera. This will be a different night, Ty, indoors here and also on the artificial turf.
It's very unusual for international soccer to be played on artificial turf. In fact, in the World Cup, it is not allowed. But this time it's different. The Russians are used to it. Their long winters, they end up playing indoor quite a lot.
For the United States team, this is not a bad time to be playing the Russians. Number one, the U.S. is getting some good results. And number two, this Russian team is in disarray.
They are, at the moment, quite a few players have not shown up. They are protesting. They want Pavel Sidirin, the coach who is here, to be ousted. They're also calling for more money, which is something new for people in Russia. Obviously, things are a little bit different there, but they're trying to take an opportunity. But for the United States, with their results over the last couple of weeks against Norway and Switzerland, showing a consistency and concentration to get important goals late in the game. It should be a very exciting match because there are some young Russian players here. It's a big chance for them to show what they can do.
USA is coming off a win versus Norway, a tie versus Switzerland. This will be the third consecutive week in which they have played a team that is headed for World Cup '94. Stick with us. We'll come back to Seattle. We'll give you the starting lineups for both teams on our World Series of Soccer telecast from the Kingdome.
Upper deck lineups, our starting lineups, and we'll start off with the visitors.
A Russian goal is Hapov. He's from Spartak Moscow. Normally there's 4 players from Spartak Moscow on the team, but not today. Probably the most well-known player, Sergei Goрлукович. He played on the '88 Olympic team, the 1990 World Cup team as well, and he plays now in the Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen, so a big-time defender for the Russians. In the midfield, don't be confused, number 5, Dmitry Kuznetsov. No relation to Oleg Kuznetsov, one of the all-time great defenders for Russia. Some great speed there. Popov will get into the attack. He's a good left-footed player. You look at the forwards, Boroduk, number 10, is the captain today. But Radchenko, if you remember when we saw them play a year ago, what a show he put on for us. He's one of these guys that's faster with the ball than he is without it.
He's a gifted player. I'm sure we'll see a lot of him today. Now for the U.S., they go back to Tony Meola in goal.
Meola is the captain today. He'll be leading the team. In front of him, a very familiar back four that we've seen for the United States. Lallas on the right with Lapper and Armstrong in the center, and Jeff Agus going down the left side. In midfield, there's a different look here. Tom Dooley, in support of him, is Mike Berns, getting his first real chance to start a game and see what he can do in support of Dooley. Dooley, probably the most important player to the U.S. team, coming forward from his midfield slot, making those up-the-gut runs. Just a great player. And the U.S. team, a different look today, pushing 4 players up, although expect number 8, Dominic Kinnir, to drop more into midfield. But Joe Max Moore will be the target player. Jones and Henderson, who's an Everett, Washington native here in front of this big crowd. Chris Henderson will be playing on the wing as well.
Berns will be playing, by the way, for Mike Sorba, out with a slightly strained medial collateral ligament. He injured his left knee against Switzerland. It's too bad for Mike because he had been playing very well in support of and beside Thomas Dooley. Russia taking on the United States. The kickoff coming up next from the Kingdome in Seattle. Make sure you stick with us.
The day before.
You see that many of the U.S. players wearing the sliding pants underneath the shorts, trying to save some of that skin when they go to slide. Guys like Dooley who really like it, Lawless too, very important for them because they want to still be able to use that as a defensive tool.
What about the footwear too?
It's a flat shoe. I mean, there's no need for anything else. This is a carpet essentially.
Played wide now to the right side by the Russian side, Tedraza. Number 6. Henderson chasing him, trying to get some support from Joe Max Moore. That's a lot of dribbling.
It's a lot of pressure again by the U.S. team using a front 4, at least on paper, to try and force mistakes out of the Russian defenders.
5 minutes gone. First half scoreless, USA and Russia. And this one is knocked out. Henderson and Joe Max Moore providing pressure. Russia, or the CIS or Soviet Union, 7-1-1 against the United States. As Russia, this is really their 3rd meeting. Russia has won 1 and tied 1. The tie was in Palo Alto about a week after the 1-0 Russian win in Orlando. Kinnir to the middle, Berns with a little room. And a player wide right, that's Kobe Jones. Jones lifting, looking for Joe Max Moore into the corner. Racing with Goрлукович. Good battle there on that far sideline. U.S. will get possession. Goрлукович was the man pressuring.
One of the great things about countries like Russia, they have so many good players. We mentioned the team being in disarray. Quite a few players not showing up, refusing to play for Russia, but still, they've got guys who play in the European leagues who are playing today. We mentioned only 2 players who are Russian-based.
On the throw, takes a hop. Henderson got ahead to it. Right side, Lala's will settle. Alexei Lala's, who played collegiately at Rutgers, draws 2, almost 3 Russian defenders, and then that was deflected wide.
Lala's showing some skill there that I was not certain that he had, but he did have some defenders going back and forth. Maybe it's the white shoes today.
Russia fouling the U.S. 4-1 in terms of numbers. We didn't see as many fouls called last week in the Switzerland game. We did see fouls, but they were not called. The week before, Norway was very physical against the United States. 28-16 was the foul count in game 1, Norway. U.S. continuing to put on some defensive pressure. Marchenko blocked by Joe Max Moore, and it goes out of play. Russia will have possession on that far side.
That's an important double team situation, as Joe Max Moore, who you see on your screen, came over to help Lala's, and they nullified any advantage that Marchenko had, and he can run from midfield.
From the right side, Tedraza, bothered by Kinnir. They forced the Russians to play a bad ball into space. Now it's Agus giving it up. Thomas Duli has it knocked away. 8 is Karnaev. Now it's Kobe Jones on the far side. Jones has provided some last-minute heroics in each of the last couple of games for the U.S. Game-winning goal against Norway, and his cross set up the own goal scored by Egley that gave the U.S. a 1-1 tie with Switzerland. All the way across it goes. Throw-in coming up here for Russia. Still scoreless. 37 minutes plus remaining in this first half. Knocked up, broken up by Läpper. Giving it up to Henderson, and that's blocked. Kinnir. Not much space now on this left side. You saw 6-7 players converging near wing.
Normally some difficulty of keeping the ball on the ground on this one. They tend to bounce around too much up high because it's a harder surface, but both teams doing a pretty good job of keeping the ball down and playing it quickly.
Knocked away from Armstrong. It comes all the way to the back. Läpper picking it up. Like Berns, he started and played every minute of the 1992 Olympics. Lala's wide right. Joe Max Moore can't turn. Bothered by Karnaev. Lala's again follows it up. A hard pass. Joe Max Moore trying to settle it. He does. To Kobe Jones on the right side. Now to Kinnir. It's behind him. Jones follows it up, but the U.S. loses possession.
That's off a hard tackle.
Russia working it back near the midfield line. Joining on the run, this right wing side, Tedraza. Chased back by Henderson. Tedraza looked like he ran out of room on this near side, very close.
He also got sandwiched.
Kinnir trying to get free. Berns. Nice idea. If that ball didn't reach Henderson in time, he may still do something with it. Henderson into the middle. Cut off. It was intended for Joe Max Moore.
We saw there is probably Berns' best quality. He plays a good early ball. He knows the best place to play the ball, and he gets it there in a hurry.
Duly. And a foul is going to be called on Russia. Kuznetsov. Läpper will take the free kick. Back for Desmond Armstrong, number 15 for the U.S. All the way across, it's Lala's.
If you're wondering about Marcelo Balboa, who was not brought along for this game due to the fact they still don't want to risk him playing on AstroTurf. It's different enough for him to adjust to it, and he's already come so far and come all the way back from that bad injury. They just didn't want him to have to deal with this.
Berns trying to get free. Not only is Balboa not here, but no Vermes, Perez, Caligiuri, or Sorber from the group that was here a week ago playing against Switzerland. Right side it comes again. Kobe Jones trying to use that great speed. One-on-one for now. Now it's a one-on-two. Knocked back to Lala's. U.S. maintains possession. Headed by Berns. Joe Max Moore with a flick. The shot from Duly goes high. But a good opportunity. That's 4 or 5 passes that the U.S. strung together.
Exactly, a good sequence as we look at Bora Milutinovic. He's got to be happy with the pressure that the U.S. team has been able to put on the Russian back four. That chance there, a difficult one for Thomas Duli, because the ball does hop up rather high when it hits the artificial surface. Therefore, he was not able to get over the shot and keep it down.
Hapov sending it long. Boroduk, but we've got
a stoppage. Yeah. One of the Russian players apparently had his socks down and is not wearing shin guards, perhaps. He's being asked to leave the field. It is a requirement now by FIFA to be wearing shin guards at all times.
Well, he's got to know that, so what's he trying to do?
Maybe he's gotten away with it a few times.
That's Rodchenko. And after he's already kicked, whether it was accidental or not, Mike Berns.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the equipment manager is going to have to run all the way over to the other side of the field to deliver some shin guards to him.
He better start sprinting.
Hope he's in shape.
He will be at the end of the run.
So an alert referee catching that. And you got to wonder, what's Rodchenko thinking? I mean, that's been like 3 years since that rule has been instituted.
Agus plays it back to the feet of Meola. Agus, now the Russians for the first time putting some pressure on the U.S. backs and the goalkeeper. Well done to get it upfield now to Kinnir.
It's still a man advantage for the USA at the moment.
Here's Lallas. Putting it into space that somehow reaches Kinnir. Dominic Kinnir trying to cut it back inside.
Wow. I'm not sure what he was trying there, but Henderson was nearly breaking through at the far side. If he could have swung the ball, the USA could have been in business.
Here are those shin guards. Can't believe that he was going without them. Can't believe it.
Well, if the Russian players get a raise, they should immediately dock him. A little bit of a fine for that oversight. But interesting that in Russia now the players perhaps wising up to democracy and capitalism even more than the general public, because they have the exposure. There's 7 guys on this field right now for Russia who play in Spain, so they understand how it works, how you get endorsement contracts and so on and so forth. But when the Russians called this team together 3 days ago, they asked 40 players to come into the training camp. Only 18 showed up in protest for money and because they want the coaching change. Sadirin, they want him to go.
Played all the way back now to Hapov. They'll send it long. Rodchenko, by the way, still putting on the shin guards as we speak on the opposite side.
He should be fresh when he comes back on.
Kobe Jones. Mike Berns, number 4, giving it up on the far side. Kobe Jones looked like he was going to have some space. Joe Max Moore, the shot, but it was right at the goalkeeper Hapov. After all that, it's unfortunate that Joe Max Moore couldn't have given more of a tester at the goalkeeper.
His first touch, not quite what he wanted it to be. He controlled the ball, but he didn't have it out in front of him. Again, Henderson was a danger at the back post. I'd like to see the U.S. team try to put the ball to the other side. But a great ball. Look how much time Kobe Jones has, and he does wisely, cuts it back. And look at Joe Max Moore, how much time he has. But his first touch, the ball hopped up on him. We don't see Henderson. He's outside of number 7 there. On the last 2 plays, had the U.S. team able to swing it out to Henderson, he might have had a great chance. But there's that first touch by Joe Max Moore. He's probably not real happy with that, because if he makes a cleaner first touch, he can strike the ball much harder on target.
Part of that have to do with the AstroTurf or not at all?
A little bit. And it's a change in your footing as well as in the bounce of the ball.
Russia will take the throw-in. Still have about 30 minutes left in this first half. Great night for soccer here in Seattle. They had 38,000 tickets sold as of this morning. And you've got to remember that the Seattle Supersonics, a great NBA team this year, are playing at home. Offside, says the linesman on this near side. Seattle Supersonics playing at home tonight. The game is also on pay-per-view television, and they're playing the Knicks. So you've got 2 of the best NBA teams playing in the city of Seattle, and yet they should have over 40,000 here for soccer.
Rodchenko is now back on the field after putting the shin guards on.
Goran Milutinovic looking for big results from the U.S. squad in 1994. At least similar results if he can to what he did with Mexico and Costa Rica in previous World Cups.
He's known as the miracle worker.
Russia taking it at the back. Galyamin being pressured by Kinnir. There's a touchback from Rodchenko. The other good thing about Rodchenko, he will move for the ball. He'll find himself some kind of an opening, whether it's forward or in the middle of the field, either side, he'll get there.
Good freelance attacking midfielder.
Good ball, and a late flag. You had your flag. Of course, there's a shot taken. I don't think Meola touched it.
And I don't know why it was late. The guy was offside the whole time by at least 3 yards.
You immediately put your hand up, and then about 3 seconds later, the linesman on the near side did. The referee was going to acknowledge it anyway.
It's easy from up here.
Yeah. Easier anyway.
Yeah. Despite working with you.
Well, that's the easy part for you.
Here it is, the ball coming down, and now the clearance by Desmond Armstrong. Now it's brought down, and the U.S. team starts pushing up at this point in the trapping situation. Now the ball played through. Now it's the guy in the center. It's actually not the guy that runs through who was in the offside position. It was number 8, Korniev, who was in the offside position when the ball was played through by about 2 or 3 yards. But interestingly enough, the guy that ended up getting to the ball first was not offside when the ball was played. So perhaps that's part of the confusion by the linesman.
Igor Korniev, the guilty man. Right wing side it comes. Rodchenko. He's got good speed too on the wing, and Duly blocks him. It'll be a corner kick coming up though for Russia.
So as always, the offside call open to interpretation. And it can be interpreted. They could have let that go on if they determined that number 8, Korniev, was not part of the play, didn't interfere with the play. But yeah, that's a judgment call.
Near wing side it goes, Salenka. And this one goes out of play. The only win that the U.S. has against any Russian team was against the CIS in Detroit, in Pontiac, also on turf at the time. Tony Miola was in goal for that one. Balboa and Winalda were the goal scorers for the U.S. Lala's from Lëpper, right side.
Salenka, who we just saw a minute ago, he plays for Logroñés in Spain. He's a player that's very good with his back to the goal. That's why they'll put him up so far up the field as a target player. He can hold players off and dish off good passes. Number 9, Salenka.
Desmond Armstrong, a starter on this U.S. World Cup team in 1990. Joe Max Moore bringing it down back for Armstrong.
Armstrong wearing a sleeve on his left thigh. Well, he's had some hamstring problem.
Here's Armstrong, too slow on the pass back. He wanted the speedy Henderson, and look out, the Russians try to break out quickly. Duly with an early first one, well timed. He wanted Kobe Jones.
If you can spring Kobe early, not many players can catch him.
Confusion at the back for Russia. Jones and Kinnir put pressure on, but Russia beats it on the first pass out. Goрлукович, Tedratsa. Agus bangs it away, intended for Henderson. Some high foots both sides. Joe Max Moore steered it, not close enough to Henderson.
Really well read by number 3, Галямин. He knew where that ball was going.
Rodchenko putting it into space. Meola coming out, and he'll watch out for the linesman.
Moving target. You see Tom Duly slapping the hands of Meola because Meola was very decisive, and it's also very obvious that Meola gave a strong call verbally that he was coming out, because then Duly just got out of his way. Well coordinated.
Tedratsa will take the throw in. It's still scoreless here in Seattle. Tedratsa got it back. Duly trying to stay with those fakes. Tedratsa now being covered by Armstrong, who knocks it out.
Armstrong covered it well.
Armstrong has been hit by some other injury problems. He had a back problem a little while ago, had to come out of the U.S. game against Norway, but he's now over that. He was pronounced 100% fit despite some nagging injuries. Offside trap was on. Deflected upfield, intended for Kinnir. Russia will take it back. Intercepted. Kobe Jones with that great speed, accelerating on the AstroTurf. He got it back off a deflection. Jones for Henderson behind the defense. Henderson shot it wide.
Well, I called for it. That's the one I'd been looking for, because Henderson appears to have the speed and pace out on the left side to get past his defender, but the U.S. had not brought the ball to his side as of yet. But this time, Kobe Jones does see him, puts the ball over the top of the back, and there's a racing Chris Henderson straight onto it. A good first touch. He really gets a hold of this ball, but it's just a little bit off target at the far post. Another chance here, and that ball drops in beautifully in behind the right defender onto Henderson's run, and he knows what he wants to do with it. He just wants to jam it into the far side netting, and he didn't miss by much.
Well, that's going to open some things up here for the United States. 0-0 Russia and the United States. Gone about 20 minutes here. Agus. Headed upfield. Duli. Giving it up on the left side. Here's Henderson. His 60th cap tonight for the U.S. Only 8 others have done that in U.S. soccer history.
And still really a youngster. 19 years old at the World Cup in 1990.
The youngest at World Cup 90. Long ball for the U.S. looking for Henderson, and there's Hapov for Tedraza. Hapov's first international appearance, so his first cap. Cherchesov has been the #1 goalkeeper. A lot of the Russian players are playing in Western Europe, and they're not here.
Hapov plays with Spartak Moscow, who were the Russian champions this past season.
Here's a chance on the left wing side. Salenka has it blocked. Looked like he was going to get some daylight. Lapa went over there in a hurry. Kobe Jones cut out the options as well.
You look at Salenka being marked by Alexei Lala's. Physical matchup there.
Play to the back. And it's whistled down. The linesman had the flag up for the offside. We are scoreless in Seattle. Russia playing the United States. Still almost 23 minutes to go in this opening half of play. It's a faster game, as you probably noticed on the AstroTurf, but still no scoring at this point. Here's Berns spinning, finding Agus wide left. All the way back the other way into the Russian end, where they control. 3 is Galyamin. Rodchenko. And all the way back to Meola. Right side, Lala's. Berns looking back towards Tony Meola. And Meola will send it forward. Tony's 77th cap. He's now tied with Balboa for second all-time in Goose Boy. And on that foul, the U.S. will get a restart. And that would hurt.
He got cracked in the side of the face. Got to get used to that if you're going to be playing as a striker. There's the arm coming in, the early bump, and practically a neck tackle.
Back live, Agus. Lala's broken out.
Lala's got blasted there too, but he still won the ball. I mean Lapper. It's Lapper actually.
Lifted long the other way. This one hops through to Henderson. Looking is Duli, and Hapov just got that.
He wondered where Duli came from.
Henderson hustling back on the right wing side. Here comes Russia. Long ball played. Meola was backpedaling. Now comes out and grabs it for Lapper. Chesting it down for Jeff Agus.
Russian club teams have done quite well through the years in European competitions. Spartak Moscow currently in the European Champions League. The next match, March 2nd.
Here's Berns with a right footer, and that one was blocked. Give credit to the block for number 5, Kuznetsov.
Give some credit to Berns. Not a bad idea to break up a defense a little bit, take a few shots from outside.
Lala's going long. Henderson sees it well, heads it down towards Kinnir, doesn't get there.
But that's an effective play. If you can swing the ball all the way opposite side, the defense can't shift in time. Henderson with his speed could have broken through.
And now again, a late flag came up. Very late. But an offside call.
Well, they're running so many players through, it's difficult to tell which one. Now, there were guys in offside positions, but do you raise the flag or not? Are they really involved in the play? Are they seeking an advantage or interfering? So the confusion there is pretty obvious because you got like 3 different blue shirts running through, some of them in staggered fashion.
Kobe Jones for the U.S. over to Alexei Lala's. Less than 20 minutes to go unofficially. First half of play. Right side, Armstrong. No score, the USA and Russia.
One of the great teams of Soviet soccer history, Dynamo Kiev, actually in the Ukraine. So it's a different setup in Russia than it ever has, but there's still so many great players in different parts of Russia that the Ukraine is a fine team, as the U.S. found out this last fall when they dropped 2 games to them.
Lala's on that long throw-in. Saw Dario Broz do those long throw-ins a week ago rather well. Broz is back now with his 2nd division French team, trying to help lead them into the 1st division. Here's Rodchenko, far side. against Berns. Lifting it far side on that cross, a long one. This one will go out of play.
That's adjusting to AstroTurf and perhaps his new shin pads. Threw him off there because the ball got away from him a little bit when he went to cross it.
Obviously, you don't have to worry about any wind conditions here. The building seems more comfortable, too, than the Pontiac Silverdome, where it was very hot. Of course, that was this summer, and that building is not air-conditioned.
This is January.
Yeah, it's a little different.
The field's 70 yards wide. You'd like to see it at least 75, particularly with AstroTurf, since the ball rolls so fast towards the sideline.
Agus, number 12 for the United States, on the cut against Tatumchuk. Doing it. Oh, he got nailed. These guys are swinging some elbows.
Now, this was a high kick.
Галямин, well, he had his arm up too. If he kicked him, that's worse.
Just in case. Had it covered with both of them. But Duly, very courageous player. He won't slow up. He knew there was going to be some body contact coming through. As he pushes the ball through, just flicks it through, and there's the high kick right across the side of his head. And there's some big boys there back in that Russian back line. And they play hard, and they play mean, and he does clip just the side of Tom Dooley's head.
All set for the free kick. Kinnir and Joe Max Moore. Long shot. He never moved. He never moved.
That was a laser beam.
Yeah, he never moved, the goalkeeper, Hapov.
About 3 or 4 guys just patted Joe Max Moore on the back, because I'll tell you what, there's some power. Look at no spin whatsoever on that ball. It must have missed by 5-6 inches. No movement at all by Hapov, the goalkeeper. He never saw it. That thing was loaded.
Get out the radar guns. That one was moving.
When you see no spin like that, you know he hit the center of the ball so hard. All his force, all his body behind it.
We've seen him take free kicks well for the U.S. That might have been his hardest shot that we've seen him take.
He took some very important free kicks and successful ones for the U.S. Olympic team. Their successful run for qualification for Barcelona, and when they won the Pan American gold, Joe Max Moore scored the winner off of a free kick. So he's got the tools to get a hold of a ball and blast it past a wall on a free kick situation.
Kinnir looking for Joe Max Moore. Kinnir helped it and then went down. They got the foul on the trip.
Looked like me today. We had a media game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Except nobody touched me. It was just fatigue.
You know, I watched about 10 minutes. You seem to lose some of the speed you never had.
You talking mental speed? Is it mental speed?
Physical. Physical. Fouls, Russia 9, US 1. International soccer far more physical than any kind of soccer you'll ever see.
Watch Agus's left foot here. It's Joe Max Moore on the ball. He may lay it to Agus's left foot. No, he didn't. He chips.
Henderson on the run. Trying to keep it in. And this one went out of play. That was Tatumchuk defending.
I would have liked to see Agus try and match Joe Max Moore's blast of a moment ago.
Henderson with Kobe Jones, 5 assists last year, leading the club as top playmaker.
It's a good sign when your wide players are getting assists. That means they're getting through and they're serving quality crosses.
Lallas, 4 goals last year, all with headers. Henderson, cut off. Tedraza. Radchenko.
Oh, that's the difficult ball in AstroTurf. You can't recover. The ball doesn't slow up at all.
Now you played here, forget the media game, back in 1979, I guess a little different. It was against the Russian team, but you only had 13,000 here, so a little bit better than 13,000. This is quite a bit different.
It was a loud crowd. Yeah, those are some of the guys I played against. But, no,
those guys were younger.
And that was the USSR team, not Russia. In fact, it was my first cap. Rick Davis scoring the lone goal for the U.S. We lost 3-1, and I put him through.
When Marinick played on that team, Arnie Mauser, the goalkeeper. We're going back some years. Goрлукович picked up by Kinnir to the midfield line. Russia trying to find some room somewhere. All the way back for Tedraza. About 14 minutes remaining. First half of play. Scoreless in Seattle for now. Anyway, here's Borodin. Running out of room, Lallas was there. Good job defensively by the U.S.
Look at the captain, Alexandra Boroduk, very experienced player. He's gone on to play in the German Bundesliga for Schalke 04. A team that used to be one of the most entertaining teams in Germany.
Coming right back the other way, the linesman with the flag up. No whistle yet. And apparently
we couldn't hear it. He obviously heard the whistle down on the field level, or you don't use your hands on the ball inside your own 18.
Here comes the United States with Duli. Playing it all the way across, right side. Kinnir sending it through, and it's deflected away with a header.
Not far off, though, because Joe Max Moore was making a good run right through the penalty spot. Could have gotten his head to it had it been only inches higher.
Here's Armstrong with some nice footwork. Duli right back, but not enough on that ball to get Armstrong through. Part of this AstroTurf is leading to some timing problems for both of these teams, or at least you'd attribute it to such. It's definitely not conditioning. These teams have now, not at least maybe for Russia, it could be conditioning, but not the United States. This is their third game in 3 weeks, and this is the way they'd like to play at least a game a week. Quick one headed down by Lallas to Armstrong. Kobe Jones intercepted. Russia trying to find some space still. Armstrong cutting that off. Duli again, it gets congested, but he finds an early man in Kinnir. U.S. with some numbers on the attack. Here's Henderson wide. Kinnir overlapping him. Henderson with a bender. Whoa. Hapov makes a big save. That ball had something going for it.
Well, no goals yet, but we're seeing some heavy, high-velocity shots by the USA attackers. And here's Henderson, and he's cutting inside this time onto the right foot. Gets a hold of this one, strikes it well. And Hapov, all he can really do is tip it over. He's afraid to try and just hold on to it because he'll give up a rebound. But again, a ball with very little spin. In fact, it was starting to dip, knuckle.
From the corner, Joe Max Moore, and it's deflected wide. That time you had Lapper and Henderson in that area going up for it.
Perhaps one advantage to AstroTurf is when you strike a ball, the ball is sitting perfectly and you don't maybe get the resistance. The grass is a little bit higher, it might slow the shot up off your foot.
Lallas capable of a long throw. We saw it the last time downfield. We'll see it again. On the header, or in the flick, it goes over the goalkeeper.
That was Lapper. And the idea there, though, is not to head it towards goal. It's to head it maybe out towards the penalty kick spot or the 6-yard box for somebody else to run onto it. So he actually miscued slightly on that one, just heading it straight back and out of play.
Hapov 6'1", 185. Ready to put it back in play for Russia. Less than 11 minutes to go, and officially first half scoreless in Seattle here at the Kingdome. Lapper to Henderson. Joe Max Moore fights off that physical challenge. That was well done.
Oh, there's a chop after the play as well.
The referee has stopped play. Joe Max Moore has found the going rough in this first half. A yellow card just being issued. That's Kuznetsov, number 5.
Kuznetsov was not happy with the way that Joe Max Moore was able to just nullify his challenge previously with the arm, and as the ball went away from the ball, he just clipped at Joe Max Moore, but unwisely he did it only about 3 or 4 yards away from the referee. There's Kuznetsov trying to get away with one. He got nailed.
Berns on the restart. Kobe Jones. Kinnir. You wanted either Lallas or Henderson. Some hesitation in the Russian defense. We're getting figures that show the United States outshooting Russia 9-0. They have the edge in corners 3-1. Saves Russia 3. Meola has 1.
The fouls, at least 9 for Russia. They may not have counted that last one for the yellow card. So probably 10 fouls, only 2 for the U.S.
Less than 10 minutes to go. First half of play, scoreless here in Seattle at the Kingdome, along with Ty Keogh. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Third straight week against the World Cup team for the United States. There's Brad Friedel and Fernando Clavijo to his left. Friedel was in goal last week for the tie against Switzerland. Clavijo, we may see Fernando Clavijo.
Friedel's ready. He's got the gloves on. Maybe it's chilly down there on field level.
Radchenko. Coming back the other way, Henderson. Giving it up, Joe Max Moore, again a long shot. Usually you call those grass cutters, but I guess here it's a turf cutter.
A worm burner? They have to be astro worms, wouldn't they? But Joe Max Moore, in his mind, he's thinking about that free kick that he just walloped. If you get a hold of a ball again like that, he may be able to light it up.
Here's a lead pass, a chance with some daylight, Boroduk, and it's blocked by Miola. There was some holding going on that went undetected. The U.S. got away with something there.
That's an outstanding save by Miola. One of the main reasons it is because he hasn't had that much to do. Suddenly he's under that kind of pressure.
Radchenko plays it across. Miola got it. I gave him credit earlier for one save, but he didn't actually.
Here's the first one. This is the tougher one, really, because it's down low. He has to cut the angle perfectly. He gets his legs in front of it. When you look at it, I think the attacker, who was Boroduk, was trying to push it through his legs or under him, but Miola was prepared for that and got his leg under him and cleared the ball away. And just after that, another great cross he went up for above Lawless to pull it down. So Miola not had that much to do, but came up big twice in a row there.
That was really his first save. Earlier we had said he had one, but they didn't even
have any shots. The second one, this one perhaps is easier because the goalkeeper has the advantage of his hands, but he has to come out early, get up way high. And you know what? Lawless does a great job, really, of shielding Miola's space so that he could go up clearly for the ball, and Lawless just took out the Russian player.
10-1 the shots. That's an incredible figure for the United States, and part of it, no doubt, with that look that Bor Milutinovic talked about before, using potentially 4 forwards.
Well, he has. I mean, many times Kinnir will drop to midfield, but he's playing at least 3 forwards. He's got Kobe Jones wide on the right, Henderson wide on the left, Joe Max Moore straight up top. And when Kinnir, who you're looking at here, when he pushes up as well, it has been a problem for the Russian defenders. They've been giving the ball away, and they've allowed the U.S. team to get some counterattacks going, and that's why you see 10 shots to 1.
Back the other way, Russia trying to advance down the left wing side. Lala's is there against Popov. Off a deflection, Armstrong. That one hopped him.
No, he did it on purpose. He's smooth.
Agus. Sending it all the way across. Lala's chesting it down.
Rather casual approach with the chest ball.
Russia guilty of another foul. Add that up on your total count. They had the big edge in fouls. U.S. have the big edge in shots. Still scoreless with about 6 minutes left in the first half.
They've had Radchenko marking up on Lawless, which I think is a mismatch because Radchenko's an attacking player, not probably renowned for his defensive heading.
Set long inside the 18. On a bounce, Henderson looking for it. Lapper. Heading it down. Agus bending it right side. He wanted Kinnir. Kobe Jones on the dribble, stays with it. Jones dribbles inside the 18 and he goes down. Play continues.
He was clipped. But Kobe Jones showed you his tools. He's built so low to the ground. He changed gears about 3 times there. Got past 2 or 3 Russians. The last one clips him, but here you'll see, right? He's past one. Great balance, huh? He keeps low to the ground. He's through, he splits him, and he was clipped ever so slightly right at the top of the 18, but no call.
Lapper. Have about 5 minutes left here in the first half. Still scoreless, but the USA has had the edge in just about every area here. Just the fouls they trail. Henderson has it knocked away. U.S. will have the ball. Mike Lapper, one of several UCI.
Future. I thank you so much.
And Agus miscommunicate. Throwing coming up for Russia. Desmond Armstrong, the leader back there right now for the U.S.
Some of the better Russian players who are not here, not really because of the boycott situation, guys that are playing, for instance, in the Italian First Division. Shalimov plays for Inter Milan. Playing in the English League is Kanchelkis with Manchester United. Very important part of their title-winning team.
Shalimov, though, is the reported ringleader of the group. They sent a letter to Boris Yeltsin. That would be like in this country sending President Clinton a note saying that you wanted to change a coach of a particular national team. Doesn't happen here. Reportedly, it's happened there.
Another great player, Kiriakov, plays for Karlsruhe, Germany. We've got great players now littered across Europe. Previously, they were not allowed to leave the country until they were 28 years old. Things have opened up. They're going for the bigger contracts in the Spanish leagues, and the German leagues, and the English leagues.
Agus. Down in just a couple of minutes here in this first half. Long ball, Duli. He wanted Henderson.
Great idea. Just didn't put the proper angle on the pass.
This one goes out of play. I'm wondering if this might be Thomas Dooley's first look at any, except for Detroit, maybe. And the U.S. didn't play a game in Detroit. It was the foreign teams in U.S. Cup '93. So this might be his first look at any kind of an indoor soccer structure.
And of course, if you remember at U.S. Cup '93 at the Pontiac Silverdome, they carted in natural turf, even though it's an indoor stadium.
Agus playing it forward. That's it. First half comes to an end. We are scoreless in Seattle, but you've got to give the big edge tie to the United States the way they played in the first half.
Just think of the two shots, the one by Joe Max Moore and the other one by Chris Henderson. They were hit like rockets, and they give plenty of problems to the Russian goalkeeper.
We are at halftime, and before we break away for the first half, it's time to talk about our Adidas Trivia Quiz. Listen to the question, in case we try to throw you. Our Adidas Trivia Quiz: what is the year of Russia's first World Cup appearance? Think about that, and while you do, we remind you that it is scoreless here in Seattle. Ty and I will come back very shortly. Stick with us. Russia and the United States. We are back at the Seattle Kingdome. We'll go back to Switzerland, by the way, in case you didn't notice, went in to California and beat Mexico 5-2 this past week, 5-1. Here's Lallas sending it long as the second half begins. We are scoreless in Seattle with Ty Keogh. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Hope you've enjoyed the first half, and second half, like the first, commercial free. Thanks to our sponsors, who you'll be seeing logos of from time to time in the upper portion of your screen. We thank them for allowing us to bring you the action without commercial interruption, like they do in other countries. But finally, it's here in America. There's been Armstrong. A good look at him. He is the only sweeper for the U.S. right now, with Balboa being kept at home. No doubt they didn't want to take the extra pounding on the AstroTurf. Why risk it? Played in long. Meola is right there, finding Henderson in space. Things were working for the U.S. squad when they could use Henderson and Jones' speed in the wings. We'll see if they continue to try that or if the Russians make an adjustment. At the back, Galямин. So far, I don't see any changes for the Russians either. Here's Popov playing it back. They will play Mexico next week in Oakland, California. Long ball played the other way. Boroduc was there, but so was Meola.
This is the flat footwear. It's a flat shoe. You're looking at a close look at the AstroTurf surface, the artificial surface. It is just almost like a rug in your living room, so you don't need any cleats. In fact, the flatter the shoe you're wearing, the better contact that you make with the surface for traction.
Kinnir giving it up to Mike Berns.
That, of course, is the classic Samba Adidas shoe, which everybody's worn at one time in their career.
Meola didn't want to give that up for a corner. If he saved that, that's a great play.
That was a heroic effort.
That was a corner kick all the way, and instead it'll end up being a throw-in.
Nice hook slide, too. Remember, he was drafted by the Yankees out of high school.
Center fielder, great athlete. Chose to go with soccer instead of baseball. A lot of people answer the door when the Yankees come knocking.
He had grown up watching the New York Cosmos play in the New Jersey Meadowlands just down the road from his house in New Jersey, so that made an impression on him.
Wasn't that a great line that Ian Asbury said from the cult at the end? He didn't want to go to Little League games. He wanted his son to play soccer. That was great.
He said he wasn't going to go no matter what.
Yeah. Here's Grachenko. Giving it back. 4 is bump up. Taken away is the U.S. with Kinnir and Jones together. Kobe Jones. Oh, that's nasty. Karnaev, that's not the first time he's done that, and Lallas is over there with a message.
Yeah, so is Duly, so is Lapper. Here's Kobe spinning away. Karnaev just gets out the chainsaw, tries to make kindling out of him.
Yeah, that's a yellow.
And it should be at least a yellow. And if the U.S. team is getting a little more sophisticated in the wiles of international soccer, you'll see somebody drill Karnaev very soon, or another Russian player, because that's another way to put a stop to that.
Off the ball and when the referee's not looking, preferably.
It was obvious he wound up as hard as he could and had no intent of playing the ball.
Kinnir. It's loose inside the 18. Joe Max Moore for Dooley. Moore with a shot. And got underneath it too much with that left footer. And that went away.
A bouncing ball, difficult to deal with by Joe Max Moore there on the left foot. But again, pressure for the United States in the Russian penalty area, causing some problems. You see the ball bouncing in here. Now, Lallas is the main target here, and he's got 2-3 guys very similar to what Switzerland did last week. Instead of playing the ball, just getting in front of Lallas and playing the man.
As we come back to live action, Mike Berns hooked it just wide. Berns is playing well in place of Mike Sorber tonight, who had been playing that role next to Dooley also very well. He had been getting a lot of accolades for his play.
Both of them intelligent players, good passers of the ball, good positional sense. And you're not looking for a flashy guy. You're looking for that to kind of hold down the fort while Dooley makes the runs forward.
Berns was a high school player of the year back in '87 in the state of Massachusetts. Credentials. Finally is injury-free.
He had a great performance also with the U.S. Olympic team. More and more of the Olympians, like Lallas right here, have worked their way into the full national side.
That's really the way it's supposed to be when you see progress on your national team, when you can take that Olympic program and they become your national team. Not because of default or you have nothing better, but because they've earned it.
And they've developed as they've come up through the international competition.
This one goes all the way out. We've only gone 5+ minutes here in the second half. Still scoreless, USA and Russia.
The Spanish gold medal team from the Barcelona Olympics has now produced several players who've moved on up to the Spanish national team. Some very exciting players as well. We look on the sidelines, all kinds of players warming up, including Brian Quinn and Claudio Reyna. We'll expect to see them enter the U.S. lineup, but not very long from now.
And everyone that Russia brought is stretching right now.
They had a long flight yesterday.
Did they ever? Mine was longer, though. I'll talk about that later.
Oh.
It's getting rougher.
Looked like NHL action in the corners there.
For American
Kinnir
football.
can't believe he didn't get the call here, because watch him, he's about to turn the corner and look at the arm come in and he's just shoved right out of the picture. No foul called there as Serhii Goрлукович manhandles Dominic Kinnir and piles him into the AstroTurf.
I was told last night, Ty, that it took the Russians 15 hours to come here from Moscow. It took me 16 from Connecticut. So I had a longer day.
Yeah, but you get lost. You get lost easy.
I do, but I wasn't driving. I was not driving.
You got extra frequent flyer miles, is that it?
Yeah, I did do that. But I would rather have gotten here a little bit sooner. Weather was playing havoc all across the United States yesterday with a lot of the air transportation.
Good tackle by Agus. You got to start evening up some of this foul situation, because the Russians are trying to physically intimidate. We just saw Kinnir get shoved down by Goрлукович before we saw Karnaev really go after Kobe Jones's legs, and Kobe's still moving pretty well. He just made a bad pass, though. You got to wonder if he's worried about getting whacked again.
Down in the corner, still another collision. 13-5. U.S. slightly catching up, I guess.
No, it was 12-5 at half.
At one point, though, it was 9-1.
Yeah, late in the half, they started to come up with a few. And again, I don't want to condone fouling, but when you get to the highest levels, physical intimidation is part of it.
Grachenko lifting it. Meola got a piece, but not all. Russia scores the first goal, and the threat of Grachenko that we talked about at the top became very important right there.
We talked about Rodchenko's speed. He actually had a disappointing first half. He appeared to have problems with the AstroTurf because he's a player that likes to change speeds, but the ball moves so fast on AstroTurf, I think it threw off some of his deception. But this time, it's a straight run forward. There he goes. He's already taking off into the space. Now the ball played through. He's not offside when the ball's played. He looks to be at least even with Läpper, and he actually, this is more or less a lob by Rodchenko as Meola comes to cut the angle. Rodchenko's able to clear Meola, and this helps. The big bounce helps him be able to get under the ball to then put the top spin on it to get it over the top of Meola and then have it come down into the net.
That was Karnaev that had made that long pass.
So you have to say it's against the run of the play. There's no question.
They're announcing it as Salenka, but it looked like 8 Karnaev. I double-checked that.
Karnaev is shorter. It was not a guy as big as Salenka.
There is Rodchenko.
So the shin guards didn't slow him down.
No. We liked him last year, even though he didn't set the world on fire. They only scored the 1 goal in the 2 games as a team, but he was brilliant.
He was beating players at will.
Now the U.S. is looking at, again, those heroics. They find themselves trailing once more.
Concentration is the biggest thing, and it is. Karnaev, number 8, now lifts it very nicely in behind Läpper. Rodchenko's on the full run. He's been sprinting since the halfway line, and he essentially lobs Tony Meola as Meola had come out to cut the angle.
Throw in by Kinnir. Hapov just got it with Duli, doing his best to get at that. Tough luck for the U.S. squad, no doubt, because they had been the better side, but now they're down 1-0 against this Russian side, trying to prove something here. They're getting a chance while many of the regulars are not here with them. Henderson. And more. Time back. Agus. Strong left footer on the right side. Kobe Jones. U.S. trying to open things up in the attack. Jones lost it in the dribble. May have been indecisive, but now.
Great balance. Great balance. Kobe looking just ever so slightly tired, and he's been kicked on hard too. So if you wonder, he had a little bit of a stumble there. He recovers so well, though, and was able to keep that play alive.
Kobe Jones, one of the rising stars in the U.S. program. What's the mentality going to be like now, Ty? You've played so well up to this point. All the stats show it's in your favor, and one opportunity really for the Russians here, and they score.
What you can't do is let the frustration get to you. You have to continue to do what was working for you. The good pressure on the Russian backs, the great chances, the shooting from outside. You just have to do more of it. And you'll watch a Russian team here become ever more cynical about just trying to defend this lead with the fouling and with the delay tactics. So the U.S. have to keep their composure and concentration. They can still win this game.
Dooley giving it up. Here's Joe Max Moore for Kinnear. Touch back to Berns. Berns stays with it. Nice cut by Berns. A shot hit off his own player. Dooley settling.
He has to wait for that bounce to come down.
Dooley tried to draw a foul, I thought. Unless he really did get nailed, he's down.
He was shoved a bit.
Now he's back up. Here's the cross. Kobe Jones on the receiving end. Jones setting it far side, way out. Agus backpedaling.
And the Russians dropping more and more players back to defend.
Kinnear. Henderson. Kicked away.
Duly trying to get something going in the box there. Gets really pummeled in the box. But number 5, Kuznetsov, who already has a yellow card, made it look more or less a part of his jump towards the ball. But he very obviously wanted to make sure he got Duly as well.
Here's Berns. Long distance, and it's caught by the goalkeeper. That play with Dooley looked much worse in the replay than when I first saw it. I thought he was trying to draw a foul. But there was contact.
Well, physical play. The Russians have shown us that they're not afraid to mix it up. Here's the chance by Berns. He's got a little bit of time. He gets a hold of the ball pretty well. He's not really going to beat Hapov from there very often. But look at, is it Kobe Jones they're coming, or Kinnear? It's Kobe Jones. You would like to think maybe a rebound periodically would pop out from a situation like that, so the shot is still well worth it.
There's Mike Berns. Can't blame him for trying. Yeah, you could expect some of those rebounds on this AstroTurf. They're going to bring in Tadeev, number 14, Bafa Tadeev, for Tatarchuk is what the linesman had indicated. Number 7, Tatarchuk.
Seen Tadeev play very quick player off the mark.
Bafa Tadeev. So he is checked into the lineup.
He plays for Spartak Moscow, Russian champion.
He's one of the guys that was allowed to come over. We were told that at least 4 or 5 of the Spartak players were not allowed to come over. There he is, Tadeev. So they've got some fresh legs in there, maybe to help them try and hang on to this lead, but there's a lot of time to protect a lead of only 1 goal. There's still over 32 minutes to go. USA with the edge everywhere except in the foul count and on the scoreboard. Berns knocking it ahead. Joe Max Moore on the chase. Can't get around Goрлукович.
He probably fouled him, and it has been called. There's some of the frustration there. He didn't have much to lose by trying to get in behind him. Goрлукович, a very experienced player, shielded the ball well, drew the foul.
Down below, Claudio Reyna getting some words of encouragement from Bora Milutinovic, so he's apparently getting ready to check in. Bora is showing him something on the diagram.
Ryan Quinn still also warming up. It looks that he won't appear as early as Reyna, though.
Left side it comes. Popov. Again, notice how deep Rodchenko comes for that ball. And now running into space, but they don't get him. Popov.
Nice shove by Henderson.
Rodchenko again. Off a deflection. Boroduke lets it go on the wing. There's the cross all the way. Tadeev cracks it up. It's still loose inside the 18. And Duli will move it out.
Actually, Armstrong may have saved a goal on the initial cross when he flicks that ball back. Right behind him was Salenka, who would have headed it in had Armstrong not flicked it on.
Kuznetsov wanted Rodchenko. He and Salenka were there, and neither guy thought the other guy was going to be able to get to that, so they each tried it. Reyna will be coming on for Joe Max Moore. So I wonder if the U.S. will change any kind of a formation, because if they go switch for switch, player for player, it's...
Here's the Armstrong, the Desmond Armstrong play that I talked about. It's a great cross. Salenka's there to head it in at the last second. Armstrong flicks it out of danger, but there's a blue short just behind, but he stays with the play and makes the second great defensive play right in a row on the clearance. Dooley finishes it off for him, but Armstrong in the right place at the right time, 2 times in succession.
I was going to say, if they made the switch tie Reyna for Moore, offside. If they made that switch, it's striker for striker, but as we see Reyna, he's playing more the second position. Kinnir has gone up top.
Kinnir has now pushed up where Joe Max Moore was playing previously. Claudio Reyna, of course, 3 national championships, 3-time All-American at the University of Virginia, and probably the key player for the U.S. Olympic team in 1992.
He's really done all he could do at the collegiate level, so he wants to turn pro, and he'd love to start it with an appearance at the World Cup.
Exactly. Love to be a part of his first World Cup. I expect him to play in more than one.
An improper throw-in. Throw-in now for the U.S. They'll try to do it the right way. Kinnir from Lala's. Right side, Kobe Jones. And it takes that quick, hard bounce on the AstroTurf and goes out of play. Goal kick coming up for Russia, who lead it 1-0 with about 29 minutes left.
If Kobe can't catch it, nobody can. He's got the afterburners. So some of the footwear, some guys trying to find what's comfortable, what's going to take some of the stress off of their legs. This is Lala's. Well, too bad he couldn't find something to match the red beard, but it was a nice try. What did somebody say? That's not a hairdo. That's a don't.
Yeah, that's not a do. That's a
don't.
Played back to Hapov. Set long. They want Rodchenko. In the air, won by the U.S. Henderson. Again an air battle. This time Russia brings it down. Rodchenko plays it back. Going long. Salenka couldn't get to it. Laffer heading it down. Boroduke. And again an offside. Remember last week Switzerland was offside. I believe it was 15 against 1 for the
It's
US.
a gamble, but it has been effective for the U.S. They've been executing the trap quite well, and they've used it as a weapon to slow down the opposition.
Remember, that was the only goal that the Russian team scored against the U.S. in Orlando, was off the offside trap. Mistake was made. Russia scored, only goal of the game.
They broke
last February.
They beat the trap. And they're good enough players to figure it out eventually, that's why I say you're gambling.
Back on the left wing side. Oh, Lala's getting Popov.
sending a strong message there. That's worth about 5 fouls because he really cracked him hard. Hapov was going really fast at the time, too. There's a lot.
He looks concerned.
He looks like a convict. But here he comes all the way. He wants to get a piece of. There it is. And you know what's great? He got the ball first.
Yeah. The entire Russian bench came over to see if Popov was all right.
He nailed him. But that sends a tremendous message. When a defender's able to nail the ball first and then crack the man, it shows that he was playing the ball hard and fair, but still was able to intimidate. And to me, you know, that's worth 10 times any sort of cheap shot. He went out and just nailed him fairly.
Coming back the other way, and the linesman on the opposite side with the flag up on Salenka. The scorebook, I guess, on Joe Max Moore, who left the game. He had 4 shots on goal.
That was Salenka there, but Popov probably won't go that fast again today, you think?
No.
His wings have been clipped a little bit by Lalalas.
Far wing side, U.S. squad will have a throw-in.
You know what, JB? It hurts so much worse, too, when you hit that AstroTurf. I mean, God. Might be the end of Popov for this game.
Berns for Lalalas. Reyna joining in the attack. Played long, and Hapov is there.
Lalalas, one of the enforcers for the USA. He showed us how to do it. Remember before when Kobe Jones got kicked, Lalalas was the first guy in the face of the Russian player. Who was it? It was
Kuznetsov.
Kornev. Yeah. Letting him know that we're not going to let that kind of stuff happen.
Oh, Kornev was the second guy.
Yeah, the second yellow card.
Yeah. This one goes out of play, and the crowd chanting USA. This was a great soccer area. You know, the Seattle Sounders used to draw great numbers here in the old NASL when you used to play here.
They're
and now
back.
They're coming back. They're back, and they're led by one of the most popular guys in soccer in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, and that's Alan Hinton. They will be playing, we're told, in the APSL next year in August after the World Cup ends. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, I played in front of 28,000-30,000 here against the Sounders when I played in San Diego. Like you said, a great soccer area. Many top U.S. players have come from the Seattle area. Bernie James played with the national team. Mark Peterson played with the national team. Tony Crudo. They've been developing good U.S. soccer players in the Pacific Northwest for quite some time, and they'll be able to tap into that when they bring the Seattle Sounders back.
A lot of those guys still live in this area too. They loved it so much.
The Schmetzers.
Yeah. There's Bora Milutinovic looking a lot sterner right now. He knows what the scorebook says in terms of the way the U.S. has outplayed Russia, but not on the scoreboard. Here they come. Great speed. They've got about 4 players in there. Oh, can't believe it.
He's got 3 of his teammates screaming at him too, because they were wide open in front. Could have gone with the pass, but he did beat the trap. Tetratsa breaking through down the right side. He's not offside. The guys in the center were offside. If they get involved in the play, actually if he passes it to them, they should call the goal back because they got an advantage by being in an offside position. He had not been in offside position. Had he put it in, it would have counted.
It's been a while since I've seen 4 guys break for goal like that. That was incredible. Haven't seen that many blue shirts anywhere in one area like that. Yeah, you got to give it back.
See if
give it back. Hockey, you keep the puck. Baseball, you keep it. Football, that's an expensive souvenir.
Latin America, I've seen him keep the soccer ball too. It goes right over the back of the stadium, and there's a guy waiting with a car.
Russia taking it out of the back. I tell you, they're not sitting back and playing it safe, as you saw them trying to break the offside trap and go for goal. Here's Kobe Jones.
Would have liked to see the advantage there.
I can't believe there was a whistle.
Jones was fouled, but he had kept possession. In fact, he had gotten past Popov. There's that matchup. Popov, the guy who got drilled by Alexei Lalalas, has been matched up all day with Kobe Jones and had his hand full.
Free kick for Kinnir. They're making noise in Seattle. Russia leads 1-0. Kinnir sending it in. It's headed out by Russia. Boroduk
has a block by Duli. Lapper chasing it. He's still up there from an attack position off that free kick.
Some pretty steady play out of a couple of the Russian defenders. Goрлукович we've already talked about, with number 3, Галямин, This has been very steady back there, very strong. Even if the ball gets by, they rarely let the man go by as well. Milutinovic perhaps contemplating another substitution. Quinn still warming up.
He's the only one that we see down there, although the Russians still have several players stretching. Henderson. Reyna's made some things happen in the 2 games in which he's come on as a substitute, and part of the reason I think was the way he was playing with Dario Broz. They were working on some nice combination plays, and we told you before, Broz is not here, but this is a good opportunity again for Reyna to show his stuff. There he is.
Away.
Henderson. Sending it in. Intercepted.
Got to get that one up.
Going right back out of the back, number 5, Kuznetsov.
Just a little glimpse there previously of the artistic sort of flair that Reyna has on the ball. He danced through a couple Russian defenders in a very tight space.
Rodchenko gave it up. Tadeev, number 14, bending it inside. It's blocked by Lapper. Russia with a 1-0 lead. Although the USA has been a better side. That's holding plus. Hopefully that's an advantage call.
They called it.
Now he's going to bring it
back. You can't hear
the
whistle. The crowd's so loud in here with this roof over us especially.
I'm waiting to hear the attendance figure.
But the USA has to keep their focus here.
Agus.
They've actually been unlucky here because the US team has played quite well. Down 1-0 though.
Armstrong. Right back. Oh, Reyna had a good idea, but he couldn't send it through.
Couldn't thread the needle.
Duli showing some speed back there, and now he's overtaken. Russia looking for a chance. Berns coming back to help out as well. Now Reyna to Desmond Armstrong.
Reyna makes it look easy.
Kobe Jones bringing it to the middle now to Mike Berns. About 20.5 minutes left here in Seattle. USA doing well except on the scoreboard where they're down 1-0. Here's Reyna. Kinnir.
Yeah.
Former All-American at Hartwick.
He lifted the ball deliberately at the last second to win that confrontation.
Agus pass not on target, intended for Henderson. Taken out of the back. Galyamin. Moraduk passing right side, and that one was out of play.
Tetradze there's got some pretty good wheels. We saw him break through the one time when he beat the trap. This time he had Agus chasing him in pursuit.
Desmond Armstrong giving it up left wing side. Agus will take it. Now Lalace, about 20 minutes left here.
That's what I'm more used to seeing. Normally Russian teams, the wide backs would get into the attack like that. But because of the 1-0 lead for Russia right now, what you're seeing is almost their entire team dropping into their own half.
Lalace. Back for Mike Lapper. Now to Berns. Russia trying to put on a little pressure here. Make the U.S. earn it.
But they're not going to chase. They're going to stay compact in their own half of the field. Why open it up? They've got the lead.
Kinnir. Nice turn. Lets it go off the left footer.
Hey, it's worth a try. The ball's bouncing as it is. Sometimes you can get the dipper going. This can fool the keeper, particularly if he's a bit off of his line. So Kinnir, you got to be thinking, take the shots. At this point, you're down by 1. You got to test that keeper.
Played long by Hapov. Agus. Henderson looking for Kinnir. Chested down Galyamin.
You see that last camera angle over the ball? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. Here's Kinnir. All the way across, headed down in a collision there. Kobe Jones. That might have been his first goal via the header.
Jones was there. It was a great run. Popov stayed with him every step of the way.
You think of Jones, you think of that great speed and the footwork, but he came very close to scoring there off the header.
He got there first, but he was being interfered with probably legally by Popov. Very aggressive defensive play.
Reyna. Taken away. Here's Rodchenko.
Nice turn there.
Salenka putting it ahead. Kuznetsov.
Oh, he cut that on a dime. Agus stayed with it.
Back for Desmond Armstrong. Quinn continues to stretch. No one else up for the U.S. At least not at the moment. Quinn hasn't played since he subbed in the Jamaica game towards the end of 1993.
He's been very unlucky in the injury department.
Has he ever?
The ankle, he had the compartment syndrome in his lower leg, knee problem, back problem.
Last November was the last time we've seen him for the U.S. squad. Russia bringing it back. They've got the 1-0 lead. Still about 17 minutes left.
Tedrats is steaming down that right side again.
Henderson had Jones, but he couldn't quite find him. Jones in marvelous condition. You'll see him make runs in the 88th and 89th minute like he does sometimes in the 1st and 2nd minute. It's a well-conditioned team. They took that Cooper test down in the Dallas area, and that proved how superbly conditioned this team was. Doctors down there said that was the best conditioned team they had ever had. We're talking NFL's Cowboys, NBA teams, offside. Take your pick.
Kobe Jones, a great chance here. Kinnir able to look up and find Kobe Jones. Kobe Jones streaking into the box, gets his head to, but right with him is Hapov, who has shadowed him the entire game. They've had a great duel, and it was that close, though, to Kobe Jones being able to put in the equalizer.
Brian Quinn will come in for Thomas Dooley. Cheryshev, number 18, will check in for Salenka, number 9. So Brian Quinn getting a test, and wouldn't you know it, this is like a homecoming for Brian Quinn, playing on artificial turf. He played so many years indoors with the San Diego Sockers, 7 championship rings on a carpet much like this.
How many times was the MVP of the playoffs for the San Diego Sockers?
Many.
Mr. Playoffs, huh?
Many. And his regular seasons weren't bad either.
Yeah.
Well, right now all he's hoping for is to stay healthy for a chance to get a crack at it.
There's a payback.
Speaking of healthy,
there's a payback.
the first guy that came on, you think he was told? Cheryshev? Hey, whatever you do,
even the score here. Remember what Lallas did to Hapov a little while ago? All over his back. Cheryshev just climbed right into him. He should have put a ladder on him.
Berns off the free kick. Edge of the 18 for Lallas. Russia getting it again. Cheryshev.
Acrobatics there. He's got the energy.
Each team now has made 2 substitutions, and these kinds of friendly games will allow you to make up to 5. Brian Quinn looking for Reyna. Down to about 15 minutes left.
Good pressure by Reyna. Reyna's sneaky fast. You look at him, you don't think he's really getting anywhere, and all of a sudden he's going by people.
Throw in from Lallas. This time they go short. Kobe Jones.
That's a
paid the price. It's only a foul if the whistle blows. It should have been.
Dude, I saw him pull that turn move just there on Desmond Armstrong at practice last week, and that's hard to deal with unless you foul him.
Third out of the back by Hapov. Off Agus. Lapper is there. All the way to the back now for Meola. Being pressured. Cheryshev, who's got a lot of energy, just coming on. Mike Berns. The work rate on Radchenko. That's good hustle for a guy that's counted on to score some goals. And he has the only goal unofficially in minute 53.
Yes, Mike Berns on the ball here, number 4 for the USA, enjoying his time in Southern California. Not really a good time of the year to be in New England, which is where he's a native.
Berns setting it in. Off Lallas. Off a deflection off Jones, and Hapov is right there.
Hapov from Spartak Moscow. Remember, at the start of this game, there were 7 players on the field for Russia who play in the Spanish Professional League.
Tony Meola. Sending it outside. Agus giving it up in the middle. That was Brian Quinn on the touch. Intercepted. Russia bringing it back. Is this going to be a disappointing USA loss, or can they make another comeback? Cheryshev. Tadea. Blocked. And this goes out. They become the cardiac hits with 2 last-minute comebacks.
No problem. I'm relaxing here. I've become accustomed now to the fact that they can pull out the goal that they need when they need it.
That's where you measure improvement. A year ago, granted that was an own goal, but they made things happen in that last game to set it up.
Forced it.
Yeah, a year ago, that doesn't happen. Hopefully, for the U.S., Rodchenko is offside.
Yeah, he was. Not by a whole lot, but he was.
What an opportunist. And we haven't seen the best of this guy, not by a long shot.
No, he really hasn't been able to do the types of things that he did on that plush, natural grass field in Orlando last year. He seemed to be able to like the fact that the grass would slow the ball up, and then he'd take off again. He would change speeds and throw off defenders completely, keep them off balance.
United States has a 16-3 edge.
This is Dmitry
shots on goal.
Popov. He's had a successful job so far, at least, of containing Kobe Jones and Jones's great speed.
Speaking of speed, too, Mark Chung is starting to warm up now for the U.S. squad, so we may see him in a bit.
He's got some quick feet. It could be well suited to AstroTurf. But Popov matched up with Kobe Jones. Popov built like Kobe Jones, low to the ground, strong, quick. So a good choice there by Sadirin to match up Popov with Kobe Jones.
Great crowd on hand here in Seattle, but it will be a real magical night if the U.S. can come back and at least get a tie out of this. Otherwise, the crowd is the only story. Here's Kinnir. Reyna. 43,000 plus. Quinn. Left-footed shot. Oh, Hapov. What a first touch by Brian Quinn.
It'll come. Keep trying to free people up like Quinn was able to get free there. He struck it well with the left foot. He hit a ball with either foot. Reyna wisely splitting the ball out wide. Quinn hitting it not quite that quickly, but striking it well with the left foot on the first time, which can fool the keeper. Actually, Hapov did very well to really detain that loaded ball that was hit first time. I thought it might catch him a little bit more by surprise.
We've seen that kind of shot from Quinn indoors, but mostly on the right foot. Here's Agus. Quinn trying to turn inside. Boy, would that have taken the monkey off of Brian Quinn's back with all the injury problems, etc. And he comes in and cracks that.
He hit it well.
Agus giving it up now to Lapper. Just over 10 minutes remaining. 1-0. Russia leading it on a Rodchenko goal in the 53rd minute of play.
It's a good little sequence here by the U.S. They're able to switch the sides on the attack, string 4 or 5 passes together. Another great one there by Reyna.
Here's Berns. Lallas lifting it inside. Cleared away. Henderson was in the air for that.
Not a bad idea. I would have liked to have seen Henderson start his run sooner to be able to get inside that right defender.
Rodchenko's goal, the only one. Karnaev had the assist, even though they credited it to Salenka. It wasn't him, it was number 8. Offside indicated by the linesman on this near side.
Good idea by Lawless.
They're announcing the crowd officially now, and they should give themselves a hand. Over 43,000. Again, I take you back, 1979 when Ty Keel played here, 13,000 plus. It's a great area for soccer now. 88,000, we're told, play soccer, youth soccer in the state of Washington. That makes them the number 6 state out of 50 in the U.S., so that's pretty high. Armstrong now to Kobe Jones.
Lawless just dropped somebody.
Cheryshev, Tadea. Now Kobe Jones. And it's knocked out of play. Should be the U.S. throw-in.
Lawless knew Cheryshev was coming back for more on that one. I don't mean Joe Max more.
Time running out here, down to 8:34 on the scoreboard clock. As always, the referee keeping time on the field. Armstrong. Can't imagine there would be much in the way of injury time here. Here's Kinnir. Dominic Kinnir settling it. Brian Quinn with a long reverse. Kobe Jones. Picked up by Popov. Mike Berns.
Lawless is pushed up into the attack now. Looking for that equalizer. Only 8 minutes to go. Unofficially.
Here's Lapper. Chang. Quinn. Here's Rodchenko. Putting it into space, intended for Cheryshev.
he's got some wheels. Again, he's fresher than the rest of them, having come on as a substitute.
Here's Quinn. Now to Armstrong. Reyna can't get free. Karneev. Reyna stays with it well. Three-time All-American, University of Virginia.
Russia again in what I consider to be perhaps the most interesting group at the World Cup.
Here's Reyna. He got through from Kinnir. Right across, and Hapov doesn't clear out. Lallas. He was too far in front of him, or else he could have gotten a good whack at that ball.
You know who made that defensive play again, though, was Popov. He's probably been their most important player in being able to contain Jones and making plays like that.
Cheryshev. That should set up a goal kick, and you can continue your thought about
oh,
the
yeah,
World Cup.
the group that Russia will be playing in during the World Cup. Of course, Brazil, everybody's favorite, most entertaining team in the world. Most people would say to watch. Cameroon, so unpredictable but so talented. And Sweden, very solid Swedish team. Some players from Sweden, very experienced now, hitting their prime. Perhaps at the right time to have a good World Cup.
Chang has come into the lineup replacing Kobe Jones. And number 17, Rahimov, has checked in for Russia. And Karneev goes out. After some 15 hours in the air yesterday, the Russians playing tonight, and then they have off. They'll be training, though, on the West Coast because they'll take on Mexico in Oakland next Wednesday, I believe it is.
February 2nd.
Lallas playing it through. Kinnir and Hapov collide.
That's good, though. Kinnir following it all the way, giving Hapov the idea that he's never going to be just having an easy save, so it may really distract him the next time.
U.S. on the steal. Chang led it too far, and then he paid the price. I thought they were gonna bring it back.
Yeah,
they did. They did. There's no advantage there.
Kuznetsov caught him just after the play. Just after the play. Popov, tremendous defensive performance today. Now here's a guy that can go forward, but he's been told not to today. He's been told to contain Kobe Jones, and he's come over also and supported the other defenders on the Russian team to keep what is so far a shutout for their defense.
Free kick coming up. Who's going to strike it? You've got Reyna there, number 10. Mike Berns, number 4.
Lapper's wide open at the far post.
We are set.
Reyna can hit him.
He'll be the man. Claudio Reyna pushing it for Lapper. Mike Lapper on the cross, far side. Lallas, he scores! Lallas!
Boy, that feels good for this crowd, for Alexei Lallas. Not for Hapov, but he had no chance. That was a thing of beauty, the entire attack, starting with the free kick when Reyna worked the ball wide out to Lapper. And look at Lallas. Hey, he slam dunks this. Here's Reyna. He fakes the shot, slides the ball up out to Lapper, who I said before was wide open at the back post. Lapper now bends a beautiful ball all the way to the back post. Look at Lallas get up and just pound the ball down into the net. And he's rewarded this tremendous crowd here in Seattle with the tying goal. There's Reyna's ball, splitting the Russian defense wide. Lapper takes a little bit of time, finds Lallas with a nice bending ball, and Lallas got up so high above the entire Russian defense and then put a great deal of force behind the header to blast it down into the net, just inside the post. Hapov, no chance, because he started out at the near post.
His 5th international goal, and believe me, he's tired, but he found that energy to make one heck of a run into the stands after he scored it.
It's easy then.
He found his legs. 1-1 in the 86th minute, 3rd straight week that the U.S. in the closing minutes has come up with a strike.
With an important goal.
One case a game winner, one a game tire. Now this one a game tire as well. Henderson cracks it.
Hey, take him. That's not a bad idea.
This is a team, though, you got to go back to that confidence thing you talked about before. A year ago, they don't do this. They think they can score, and they are.
Lala's such a dominant player in the air, scoring critical goals for the USA. Of course, the one you always think of is the one against England, where he got up so high on the corner kick. And he plays in the back, and we've seen him, 2 minutes ago we said he's pushed up into the attack. He's looking for these opportunities, making them happen. Last week, it's a tying goal against Switzerland. It's really an own goal, but he forces the issue because he's in there really pushing for it.
Here's Armstrong. Here's Henderson. Reyna. Oh, he got nailed. Rahimov should be carded. Rahimov should be carded. Should be and is. Second straight week, by the way, that Reyna has had something to do with that comeback. At least indirectly.
He always seems to have options on the ball. He knew that Lapper was out there.
Berns sending it in. It's bending. Hapov punched it out. Followed up by Brian Quinn.
Lapper.
Oh, Hapov got nailed somewhere.
Lapper just crunched him.
Another Russian player.
Had Russian defenders down too. Lapper's, he's a tough character. He got up well and he took some bodies out there. That's Tetradze, the guy with the great speed down the right flank, who's gotten to the attack. And this time he got crunched. Lapper went in very hard and high.
Time running out here. Ty Keel will be heading for downstairs and the interview area. That should be interesting. Here's another look. Here's the shot coming through from Mike Berns, or the pass, the cross, and there's a collision. Lapper was in there, and then one of his own players as well. And then Lapper is the man that ended up taking out Tetradze. Still tied at 1. That's Tetradze. USA unofficially with 18 shots to 3 for Russia. But they were losing up until the last few moments, and then Lallas scored with a header in the 86th minute of play. Ready for the kick. Hapov setting it long. Can't be much time left here. In the air. Play now. Hapov. Chased all the way back to Tetradze. Back to the keeper, Hapov. That one was almost given away up the middle. Radchenko playing it wide right side, and that's too far. It goes out of play. Agus and the U.S. will have a throw-in coming up. 43,000 plus on hand to watch this one. Welcoming soccer back to Seattle. And Lallas, if things hold up like this, will at least make them go home very happy. 1-1. Sent long the other way by Russia. Meola right back with it. He's got Armstrong and Lallas with him. Tony Meola sending this one long. Berns follows it up. He's played well for the U.S. Talking about him all telecast. That's it. 3 slow whistles, but that's it. What a result for the U.S. Third straight comeback.
Who's kept just 2 clean sheets so far this season. But is certainly regarded as the top man in Italy, with Peruzzi not far behind, along with Marcagiani of Lazio. Lombardo taking the free kick for Sampdoria, up towards Hullit. Jugovic it was who went in then, now Hullit. Forced wide by Nutari. And then Carrera helping out. Torricelli. Muller. Good tackle though by Sacchetti. And the referee thought otherwise.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, Peter. The referee, I know he has to